Hi, I'm Keith and welcome back to the channel. I thought it'd be fun this week if I wore the original outfit I wore on day one of this round with the whole weight loss journey. I wanted to do kind of a comparison of where I am now compared to where I was. I don't know how well this is going to go today because it's pretty windy out. It was a lot more windy on the first 3 laps today, and as I was getting ready to do the mini lap and leave, the wind had seemed to have died down, but now I feel it picking up again, so I am going to do the best I can with the video today. I regret to inform you that I'm going to have to turn this week's video over to voiceover Keith. So voiceover Keith, you're up, buddy.
No worries. I got you, pal. All right, why don't we just dive into things? I would like to introduce you to the Wall of Shame. At least that's how it started. I have this dry erase board that I was documenting my weight gain back in 2017 during the first big meltdown. And at the time, it was kind of defeating. Every time the weight went up, I wrote it down. That was until I started making progress. Then it became the Wall of Progress. As you can see here, I am so far behind schedule right now compared to where I was in the past. In this past week, that kind of got to me a little bit because, I did have some more progress on the scale, but when I looked at the original journey, I thought, man, I am so far behind. And I know I said I wasn't going to get down on that, but this past week, I kind of did. When I started back up in September, I really wasn't sure if I'd be able to pull it off. And in those first weeks, when I started seeing some really awesome progress, I kind of tricked myself a little bit into thinking, oh man, I got this. I've recaptured the magic of the past. And then the winter setback happened. And then I fumbled at the beginning of the spring. And it took me a minute to get my bearings back. So even though I started this year off being about 20 or 30 pounds lower than I was at the beginning of 2018, I am still like 50 pounds behind where I was at this time in 2018. So that was a bit of a downer, but what are you going to do? And like I said, when I set out, I wasn't sure if I'd even be able to pull it off this time. So I'm still going to try to maintain a positive attitude about this despite feeling a little bit down. Another big thing is I have been having a lot of trouble seeing a difference. I actually filmed doing the original walk and I was going to intercut the footage with the footage of the day one walk because I was like, oh, it's going to look so dramatically different. And then I did the edit and I'm like, well, it doesn't look that different. I mean, the background's changed because of the season. And I'm wearing a hat in the new stuff, but I don't look as different as I thought I would. So that was a little bit of a bummer to me. I did maintain 5 miles every single day this week, with the exception of Friday when I filmed the walk. This morning when I was at the fairgrounds, I still knocked out my 5 miles despite not being able to properly vlog down there. So that is fantastic with the progress. As far as the pains go, a little creaky this week. It got a little bit cooler this week. The weather's been very unpredictable. Rain and wind, not nearly as hot as last week. So I think maybe that's having some effect on some of the older bits on me. But overall, I held up pretty good. I wanted to upgrade to the 6 miles this week. I really did, but I'm still trying to hold off on that. Although, full confession, I don't think I'm waiting for July. I think this next week is going to see me introduce the 6 mile walk at least once this week. So I'll be looking forward to that. So let's weigh in. 337.2. So it's a little over 3 pounds down from last week. Granted, not as much as last week, but it's still 3 pounds in a week is still really good, I think. And I'm back into the 330s, but more importantly, I am now officially 70 pounds down from getting back on the scale all the way back in week 2. So I am quite proud of that. I think for this week, we're going to skip the past right now. I really wanted to cover the end of 2023 going into 2024, but I want to hold off on that now. I'd like to do that the way I vlogged the first 2 parts. So we're going to try to do that sometime this upcoming week. So, June continues to go really well. We're coming up on the official beginning of summer, which means spring has finally wrapped up. And overall, I will call spring a victory. Fingers crossed as the summer officially kicks off, I can start making some serious gains with the progress. Well, that's going to wrap things up for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care, and I'll see you later.